it seems like Diddy is finally facing some legal repercussions for everything that he's done in the past. We have this inmate that had filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and it seems as if he is now getting $100 million payout because of a default judgment. Now, I didn't know what a default judgment meant, so I looked it up right here, and this is what it says. It says a default judgment is a court order that can be issued against you if you don't respond to a lawsuit or appear in court. This can result in a number of consequences, including collection of debt. The plaintiff, if that's how you say it, can try to collect the money you owe by garnishing your wages, freezing your bank account, or putting a lien on your property. So essentially, it's almost as if Diddy is going to have to give up that $100 million to this inmate right now, because the government is going to go after him. Now, it depends if Diddy's going to have, government connections where he doesn't allow that to happen to himself. But as of right now, this is the video that's been posted by Law and Crime, and they seem like a pretty certified account. They have 6.1 million subscribers, and they cover a lot of things, and they're pretty credible. So let's see what they're talking about in this video right here, man.
A huge win for a Michigan inmate in his legal battle against disgraced hip-hop producer and rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in, every bit of it.
The inmate was awarded a multi-million-dollar default judgment against Combs to the tune of $100 million. So how does an incarcerated person win that amount of money? Let's go back.
Comment down below what you would do for $100 million for real.
Derek Lee Cardello Smith and money. Let's go back to the beginning. In previous court filings, Derek Lee Cardello Smith, an inmate at Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility who is serving multiple life sentences, accused the disgraced mogul of drugging and raping him at a party in 1997.
Damn.
Cardello Smith says in 97 he was a bartender at a Detroit area restaurant when he met Diddy and was invited to a gathering at the Holiday Inn where Combs would be partying. He alleges that he participated in group sex with several women and Diddy, but when Diddy showed interest in him, he got up and sat on the couch. According to the complaint, when Cardello Smith went to get another drink, Combs handed him a drink, thought to be a glass of Jim Beam. But when he sat down in the other room and drank more, he began to get drowsy and started to pass out.
That's insane.
Combs allegedly said to him, "I added a little something to it for you." And then Cardello Smith passed out. He claims when he woke up, Combs told him he had penetrated him while he was unconscious. Cardello Smith says he ran into the bathroom and checked himself, noticing he was bleeding and in pain, and left the hotel and never went back. Cardello Smith claims he filed a police report, then he shut down and knew he was never going to be able to tell anyone about what happened. In his complaint, Cardello Smith alleges Combs paid off Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep the police report hidden for many decades. In August of 2024...
Wait. Run that back.
To keep the police, Cardello Smith alleges Combs paid off Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep the police report hidden for many decades.
Bro, this booty snatcher literally just pays people off. This is why he's still out scotch-free with all of this evidence, all these lawsuits against him. That's exactly why. So now we have to see if this $100 million even goes through.
In August of 2024, Cardello Smith made a stunning claim that Diddy came to the Michigan prison in person to offer him more than $2 million, essentially to keep him quiet and dismiss the lawsuit. On August 7th, while appearing virtually in front of a judge and while representing himself in the matter, the Michigan inmate filed a motion for a temporary restraining order against the disgraced producer.
This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner, founder, also known as Puff P. Daddy, Bad Boy, Diddy Run the City, Sean Combs, also known as Sean Puffy Combs. And this is file number 24-7362NO. I'll grab your paperwork here real quick out of this other paperwork. We do have Mr. Cardello Smith appearing from the Michigan Department of Corrections. So I do see that we do have a proof of service on Mr. Combs. but for purposes of this hearing, you filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property based on the interest of plaintiff and plaintiff's connections to defendant's sexual assault of plaintiff Derek Lee Cardello Smith, requiring a preliminary injunction and or a temporary restraining order. We did set that for hearing today, and luckily the Brooks Correctional Facility was able to make you available. Actually, they had to drive someone up today on another case. So, sir, I have received your motion and a proposed order. Do you wish to argue the motion today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed then.
Okay, the purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's two meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr. Combs on one meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property, and under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens.
This man been studying his stuff. I mean, he got multiple life sentences in prison. It's a good thing to see that he's using it the right way.
Which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stopped. And I said, so you want to hide you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He says, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree with how you get down. Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Cardello Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction than I thought you were going into. I thought we were just gonna focus. No.
We are.
You kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, are probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're not an attorney. I understand that. So if we can just backtrack and focus just on your motion.
I get what you want.
Okay, thank you.
The motion stems from Combs listing his Los Angeles mansion, the same home raided by the feds in March. According to Cardello Smith, he wanted to prevent the sale of the mansion because it would deprive him of any monetary judgment if the civil matter went to a jury trial.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison through money that I've sent. And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid his responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money. And him selling this is would help him avoid his liability for these actions done upon me. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to get the restraining order to prevent that. There won't be any harm to him, any of the parties. There won't be any harm to him in any way. And if it's deemed that it's not justified, then he can go ahead and go through with the sale at the end of the case. But one has to be put in place to stop this from happening.
The judge then stepped off the bench for a few moments to review Cardello Smith's documents. When she returned, she granted the temporary restraining order.
So, thank you, sir. Is there anything else you wish to add?
First off, just thank you for giving me the hearing and thank you for setting a pretrial on this matter. Thank you, Your Honor. There were some other filings that you should have gotten. I didn't know if that's one of the filings you could have been referring to.
So I received your complaint and all the attachments to it. And then I received this motion. And I just wanted to take a moment to review back through the U.S. District Civil Docket and your complaint. So I did do that. That's all. And
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a proof of service showing that Mr. Combs was served on July 6th of 2000 and, let me see, is that 24?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like it. 2024, return receipt requested was provided. So there is proper service. Mr. Combs has neither appeared nor responded to this request. So I'm going to grant your motion for a preliminary injunction temporary restraining order and order that the defendant and their agents are hereby enjoined temporarily for a period of 90 days from the sale, transfer, or exchange, trade, or transaction of title or deed to the property listed as the address and placed on the market by defendants for the amount of $70 million. And this property and estate belonging to or connected to defendant Sean Combs shall cease and desist any and all trades, transactions, or otherwise stop the process of any further actions on this property being continued. And this shall have an immediate effect. I'm going to date this August 7th of 2024. And I am going to sign this. And we are set for
he's low-key hype. He's trying to hold his smile in. My God, trying to hold his smile in. You can tell he hype right now.
Pre-trial date on Monday, September 9th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Is there anything else 2024 for a pre-trial date on Monday, September 9th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Is there anything else? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor. First off, thank you very much, ma'am. The second thing is, under the summons rules and the court rules of service, Mr. Combs, the defendant, had 28 days after he was served by mail, 21 if it's regular process service. His 28th day was the August 3rd, and there was no answer on the default. And I understand that I have to motion verbally or in writing, whichever one you prefer, however you prefer, to have default judgment entered. And today is literally the 28, 9, 30, 31, 32nd day, I believe. And I'd like to either preserve the issue of default judgment or judgment in my favor based on failure to answer.
Okay.
Whichever Your Honor would like.
All right, thank you. Typically, we require that. Ms. McGrain. Is Ms. McGrain in her office? Oh, no, I'm hold on. I'm talking to my judicial attorney. Typically, we require the motion for the affidavit and motion for default be filed. So Ms. Adams, is Ms. McGrain in her office?
She is not. I'm going to go find her right now, Judge.
Okay.
I know I read that rule. I read the rule, Your Honor. MCR 2.603 governs that,
Damn, he knows his
and
stuff.
it said the party can do
This
it.
dude is sharp. This dude is on point. Over here listing up. What do you even list? Listing out the codes and names of for the certain laws.
MCR 2.603 governs that, and it said the party can do it in front of the trial court judge or
Yeah.
by mail, whatever you want.
So, sir, the court rule that you're referring to, it's not a trial date, so I think I'm right. So you're gonna have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And obviously you'll be able to file that before a pretrial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so
All
the
right,
order
so-
was granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it. And so we'll get that processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can your order
All right.
say any, Your Honor, can you add on your order any Michigan representatives of him acting on his behalf for Michigan properties as well as part of that order? Or does your order cover everything?
You provided the order, so I'm going off.
Yes,
the
I did.
order
Yes,
you-
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm going off the order you provided to me, and I've signed
Okay,
that order
that's-
already.
That's what I
Okay.
needed. Thank you. All right,
All
thank
right,
you, Your
thank
Honor.
you, Thank you, Mr. Cardello Smith, and we'll make sure the writ's done, and we'll see you back in September. Thank you.
Then, in another stunning turn of events, on September 9th, the same judge awarded Cardello Smith a $100 million default judgment against Combs. The judgment was awarded to Cardello Smith because Combs failed to formally respond to the summons or failed to appear in court. The judge reportedly set a payment schedule of $10 million.
Hold up. 100 M's though? 100 M's. 10 million 10 times? 1 million 100 times? You know, what is this man gonna do with this money, bro? What is he gonna do with this money?
Awarded Cardello Smith a $100 million default judgment against Combs. The judgment was awarded to Cardello Smith because Combs failed to formally respond to the summons or failed to appear in court. The judge reportedly set a payment schedule of $10 million per month beginning on October 1st. I want to bring on now a great guest to discuss month, beginning reportedly set a payment schedule of $10 million per month beginning on October 1st.
Bro, P Diddy finna crash out any day now, cause now shit is really getting to him. Now he has to pay $10 million a month. I don't know how much that's affecting his pockets, but I think $10 million a month, you know, going to someone that's in jail, you know, we do know that he was a victim of P Diddy at this point. You get what I'm saying? So he is basically paying for the very, very messed up thing that he did to him. But P Diddy finna crash out, bro. All these lawsuits going against him. His public reputation going down the drain. And I feel like he never thought he would see the day where basically the justice system is actually getting to him.
To bring on now a great guest to discuss this case, and that's attorney Safa Robinson. Safa, thank you so much for joining me today. This judgment is very surprising, to say the least. $100 million. The judge ordering the payments to begin on October 1st, $10 million a month. What's your reaction to this judgment, and are you surprised it was even granted?
You know, the judgment is pretty surprising. I will say that this was as a result of what we call a default judgment, essentially saying that Diddy and his team did not respond to the allegations, and judgment was granted to the plaintiff in this particular case. I do find it interesting that they had not responded, and I don't know if it's a strategical decision because there is a criminal component to it, or if there was just some sort of lapse in response time or whatever that may have been. So that is a little surprising on that end. With respect to the actual amount, $100 million, while that is a large amount of money, you know, I think considering the nature of the allegations that have been put forward against Mr. Combs, you know, and the egregious nature of these allegations, I think that while the amount is large and it is surprising to some extent, it's not all that surprising considering that, you know, there's a punitive damage aspect to this.
Nah, definitely. I don't know the sexuality of the guy that's in prison. I really don't. But either way, having that done to you is absolutely traumatizing, and especially it's traumatizing, and that's a huge effect on your on your psychological state of being, especially mental state of being. And if he was straight, if you're straight and you end up finding out that happened to you, crazy. Same exact thing if you're gay too. Doesn't really matter. But I'm looking at the perspective from a straight guy. You already know that's just freaking, the psychological impact is wild.
For an attorney, Diddy denied even meeting Cardello Smith, but according to Cardello Smith, the two met in the Michigan prison. He says he even has visitor records to prove it. Do you think it's possible Diddy and his legal team just didn't take this seriously, given he's an inmate and given that he's also representing himself in the matter?
That is certainly a possibility, but I think, for attorneys, most of us, we will act in the abundance of caution. The lawsuit was filed, and so it would have been appropriate to respond, or it should not have been a surprise, and it should have been taken seriously. And I'm sure that they do take it serious to the extent that they can. I know that there are a lot of lawsuits that are popping up across the country with respect to Mr. Combs, and it's a little hard to differentiate what may actually be truthful and factual versus what could be, just deployed to gain for some sort of financial gain, which I know in this case there is a question. The plaintiff in this case has been extremely litigious previously, and this is not the first time that they've sued while incarcerated. So there could be some question with regard to that, but there appeared to be records that are jail records that would have reflected Mr. Combs' visit to the facility if, in fact, that did occur.
And from my understanding, he's serving a life sentence in prison. So it's given that, is it one possible that he still could see that money? And two, is it possible the judgment could just get dismissed altogether?
In terms of whether or not he'll actually see that money, there's going to be a question there. Like I said, that there are mechanisms that can be set in place so that he can receive that financial compensation. Just because an individual is incarcerated doesn't mean that they're banned from filing lawsuits or receiving judgments or financial payouts and things of that nature. How that will take place, I can't really say for certain. I think you indicated that he is doing a life sentence. So, what that would mean if he has any other judgments.
It's like, out of all the lawsuits that were filed against him and all the people that were free and not in jail, they didn't end up winning their lawsuits exactly. That was always settled. But the one person that's in jail gets this $100 million lawsuit. Why is that? Best believe, if he's seeing that money, he's living like a king in jail. Honestly, I wonder if you could have gourmet dinners every night. I wonder if you could pay for that. I don't know. I really don't know how it works in there. But he's most definitely getting some respect because he's going to be the richest one in there. Without a doubt. $10 million a month?
That are against him or creditors that may want to take his financial gain based off of this will also be a question.
And according to reports, Diddy listed his Beverly Hills mansion, that same one at the center of this suit, and the same one that was raided by Homeland Security back in March. And then the home was apparently listed this week. He's been trying to list that home since the summer, and he's listed the home for a reported $70 million, which is millions above how much he paid for the home when he had purchased it initially. Do you think that money will be used to go toward the judgment, or do you think it'll go toward lawyers? What are your thoughts on just the fact that Diddy is selling the home kind of at the center of this restraining order as well, too?
Well, that's the interesting part here. And so what the plaintiff in this case did was filed for what we call a temporary restraining order, which would have prevented Diddy, or would prevent him from selling that Los Angeles home. And so we know, or at least we believe, that TRO was granted to enjoin or stop him from selling that home. And so ultimately, if that were the case, then there's going to be an issue with the actual sale of the home. Those proceeds from the home essentially would be a part of the proceeds that need to be paid for the plaintiff in this case. But that's really what the issue is here, is, whether or not he can actually go forward and sell the home.
So yeah, it's official, bruh. This man just basically got a free mansion, 10 mil a month, easy, just like that. Now, given he had to go what he went through with Diddy, but it seems as if he's, you know what I'm saying? some progression. Diddy's actually facing a repercussion for the first time. Comment down below what you guys think about this entire situation right here, because I do read the comments. Smash the like button and subscribe, especially since you watched this point of the video, and turn on post notifications. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.